I'm 85 years old, and I've been living by myself for 15 years. When my husband George passed away, everyone was concerned about me. "Evelyn, you're going to feel so lonely." "Evelyn, you should move nearer to the children. You need to get out of the house more." Well, it's been 15 years. I never moved. I still don't go out all that much. And I am absolutely, completely, deeply at peace. I'm not lonely. Truthfully, I never really have been. And I believe there are many people out there just like me. People who are content on their own, but start wondering if something is wrong with them because the world keeps insisting they should want more company. So I thought I would share what I've learned. 5 tips for living alone without feeling lonely. Maybe they'll help someone. The first thing, and this matters more than anything else, is understanding that being alone and being lonely are not the same thing. Not even a little. You can be by yourself and feel perfectly content. And you can be surrounded by people and still feel painfully lonely. I've seen both in my life. Loneliness has to do with connection, not closeness in distance. It has to do with whether you feel seen, understood, appreciated. You can get that from one person you speak to once a week. And you can completely miss it in a room full of 100 people. So the first question is not, am I spending too much time alone? The real question is, do I have meaningful connection? Those are not the same question. I speak with my daughter Susan every Sunday. 20 minutes, sometimes 30. That's enough for me. Other people may need more than that. That's perfectly fine. But don't assume you need constant company just because that seems to be what everyone else wants. Figure out what you actually need. It may be far less than you think. Second tip, create a routine. When you live with other people, your day already has structure. Shared meals, little conversations, the pattern of someone else's timetable. When you live alone, you have to build that shape yourself. If you don't, the days can start to run together. I get up at 7 every morning. I make tea. Same mug, same tea, same chair by the window. I watch the birds at my feeder for about 20 minutes. Then I read the news. Then I eat breakfast. Maybe it sounds dull, but it isn't. It's steadying. It's a way of telling yourself that today is a real day and it has a shape. When George was still here, I always cooked dinner at 5:30 because that's when he was hungry. After he died, I realized I wasn't even hungry until 7 on most evenings. So I changed it. And honestly, that felt like freedom. I was finding my own rhythm instead of following someone else's. If you live alone, you get to choose. That isn't loneliness. That's freedom. Third, have something that depends on you. For me, it's my cat, Molly. She's 11 years old, full of opinions, and she expects breakfast at 7:15 sharp. If I'm late, she makes sure I know it. It doesn't have to be a pet. It could be houseplants, a garden, birds you feed, anything alive that relies on you to show up. That gives you a reason to get out of bed, even on the mornings when you don't feel like doing much. And there will be mornings like that. Having something that needs you helps. I also keep a notebook of the birds that come to my feeder. Every one of them goes in that little book. Date, time, species, how many. Maybe it sounds silly, but it gives me something to notice, something to look for. When you live alone, you need things to pay attention to. Otherwise, the world gets too quiet, and you can end up trapped inside your own thoughts. Fourth tip, and this may sound odd, be selective about people. When you live alone, your social energy is precious. You can't waste it on people who exhaust you or on relationships that are just noise. I have 3 close friends. Dorothy from church. We've known each other for 60 years. Jean from my book club. And my neighbor Helen, who's 84 and also lives alone. That's it. 3 friends I truly want to speak with, who truly know me and who I'm sincerely happy to see. That is worth far more than 20 acquaintances I have to perform for. I used to feel guilty about that, like I was supposed to want more friends, more activities, more socializing. But I've learned that quality matters much more than quantity. One honest conversation is worth 10 polite ones. One friend who really knows you is worth 20 who only know your name. If you're an introvert, give yourself permission to keep a small circle. There is nothing wrong with that. Last tip, and this is the biggest one, you have to learn to enjoy yourself. Because when you live alone, you're with yourself all the time. If you can't stand your own company, living alone will feel miserable. But if you can enjoy your own company, it can be beautiful. This took me a long time to learn. For years, I thought I was too quiet, too dull, too much of a homebody. I would compare myself to outgoing people and feel as though I was doing life the wrong way. I wasn't. I was simply doing life differently. And different does not mean wrong. I like reading. I like my tea in the morning. I like watching birds and stroking my cat and going to bed early. I don't enjoy parties. I don't enjoy small talk. I don't enjoy being busy just for the sake of looking busy. And at 85, I have finally stopped apologizing for any of that. If you're living alone and struggling, ask yourself this: are you struggling because you're lonely, or are you struggling because you think you're supposed to be lonely? Those are 2 different problems. The first one needs connection. The second one needs permission. Permission to be content with a quieter life than the world tells you to want. I miss George. I do. 47 years is a long time, and there is an empty chair at the table that never stops being empty. But missing someone is not the same as being lonely. I carry him with me. I think of him every day. And I also have a full life without him. It's a different life than the one I had when he was here, but it is still full. My children worry that I'm isolated. I understand why. But I'm not isolated. I'm simply quiet. I have my routine, my cat, my books, my birds, my 3 friends. I have my Sunday calls with Susan and visits from the grandchildren at Christmas. I have enough. More than enough, really. Some people are made for solitude. I hammer them. Maybe you are too. And if you are, I want you to know there is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not lacking something that everyone else has. You are simply built for quiet. And quiet can be a very beautiful life if you allow it. So, 5 tips. Know the difference between being alone and being lonely. Create a routine. Have something that depends on you. Choose your people carefully and learn to be at peace with yourself. That's all from me. It's time for my afternoon tea, and Molly is already looking at me as if I've kept her waiting long enough. Before I go, let me ask you something. Do you think peace in life comes more from being surrounded by people or from being comfortable with yourself? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe if you enjoy these quiet, honest reflections about life.